3 days, just 3 days before payday. You open your banking app. Just $23, not $230, just $23 for 3 more days. And the worst part, this has happened before. And the worst part, this has happened before. Last month, the month before that. Every single month, like clockwork, the money runs out before the month does. You didn't buy anything crazy. You didn't go on vacation. You didn't make any big mistakes. The money just went the way it always goes, quietly, completely, on schedule. This isn't a spending problem. This isn't a discipline problem. This is your brain running a program it has been running your entire life. And until you understand that program, nothing will change. Here is what's actually happening. In 2006, behavioral economists Sendil Mullainathan and Eldar Shafir began studying something that traditional economics had completely ignored. They called it the scarcity trap. When the brain detects that a resource is running low, money, time, food, it enters a state of tunnel vision. All cognitive resources lock onto the immediate problem. How do I get through today? How do I make it to Friday? How do I cover this bill right now? This tunnel vision is not weakness. It is a survival mechanism. The brain doing exactly what it was designed to do. Prioritize the immediate threat above everything else. But here is the cost. The tunnel that focuses you on today blinds you to next month. The cognitive bandwidth consumed by how do I survive this week leaves almost nothing for how do I build a different life. Mullainathan and Shafir calculated the cognitive impact of financial scarcity. It was equivalent to losing 13 IQ points. 13 points. The same as going an entire night without sleep, just from the mental load of not having enough. And here's what makes it a trap. The decisions you make inside the tunnel, the short-term loans, the credit card charges, the skipped payments, make next month's tunnel deeper and narrower and darker. The scarcity trap doesn't just drain your wallet, it drains the mental resources you need to escape it. Now let's talk about something called present bias. Deep inside the brain, there are 2 systems competing for every financial decision you make. The first system is ancient. It lives in the limbic system, the emotional core of the brain. It thinks only about now. It wants reward immediately. It cannot process next month. It cannot feel Friday. It only knows this moment and what this moment needs. The second system lives in the prefrontal cortex. It can plan. It can delay. It understands that $50 saved today is $50 available next week. But these 2 systems are not equal. Research by economist David Laibson at Harvard shows that the present-biased limbic system wins the majority of financial decisions, especially under stress, especially when resources are scarce, especially at the end of the month when the brain is tired and depleted and just wants relief. The coffee, the takeout, the small purchase that feels like the only good thing in a hard week. None of these feel like decisions. They feel like survival, because to the limbic system, they are. Let's look at the numbers. A survey by the American Payroll Association found that 72% of Americans would face financial difficulty if their paycheck was delayed by just 1 week. A Federal Reserve study found that 40% of Americans cannot cover a $400 emergency without borrowing money or selling something. And a Lending Club report found that 61% of Americans, including people earning 6 figures, live paycheck to paycheck. This is not a poverty statistic. This is a brain statistic. The income level changes. The pattern stays exactly the same, because the pattern is not caused by how much money comes in. It is caused by the system the brain uses to manage whatever comes in. And that system was never designed for monthly salaries, rent cycles, or the concept of saving for the future. It was designed for a world where resources arrived unpredictably and needed to be consumed immediately before they disappeared. Your brain is not broken. It is perfectly adapted for a world that no longer exists. So what actually changes it? 3 things. None of them require discipline or willpower. All of them work by changing the environment instead of fighting the brain. First, shrink the visible pool. The brain spends what it can see. On payday, before you pay a single bill, transfer a fixed amount to a completely separate account. Different bank, no debit card, requires 2 days to access. Not because you are saving it, because you are hiding it from the part of your brain that will spend it. Out of sight is, neurologically speaking, genuinely out of mind. Research shows this single intervention reduces end-of-month shortfalls by up to 40% without any change in conscious behavior. Second, automate every fixed expense for the day after payday. Rent, utilities, subscriptions, all scheduled to leave the account within 24 hours of the paycheck arriving. What remains is what you actually have. No mental accounting, no guessing, no spending money that was already spoken for. The brain cannot spend what isn't there. Remove the ambiguity and the scarcity trap loses half its power. Third, create a micro buffer. Research by behavioral economist Eldar Shafir shows that even a small financial buffer, as little as $200 sitting untouched in an account, measurably reduces the cognitive load of financial scarcity. Not because $200 solves anything, because the brain perceives it as slack, as room, as the difference between tunnel vision and peripheral vision. Build the buffer first, before the emergency fund, before the investment account. $200 that you do not touch, do not count, do not spend. It is not savings. It is cognitive infrastructure. You are not bad with money. You are a modern human being running ancient survival software in a world that was designed to drain every dollar you have. The month always wins until you change the rules of the game it's playing. Subscribe, because next week we're going even deeper into the invisible system that expands your spending every single time your income goes up, and exactly how to stop it before it happens again. See you then. We hope this insight into your brain helps you master your money.